Excuse like my strange helmet head because I did just come from the store trying on a bunch of helmets because I need to replace this one. As you can see, I fell and I scratched myself up pretty bad. It's pretty obvious. I don't know if you saw that on camera, but they say that you can't wear a helmet more than one time, so I'm replacing this one. And besides, the one that I bought looks significantly less stupid than this one. I hope. Anyway, today's video is a continuation of a series that I have never started officially, but it is 10 cons about various piercings, tattoos, or other body modifications. And today we are going to talk about my ears, or stretched ears to be exact. A lot of these cons are going to be really obvious because if you've never had stretched ears, you've probably heard of the cons, and if you have stretched ears, you already know of the cons, but here we go. 1. The hole gets bigger as you stretch it to a larger size. Therefore, you just have this really gross looking wound in your ear. It's not really a wound, but it's just like a scar, and it's a hole, and people can stick things through it and it freaks them out, and then just your grandma is just like, "Ah, Sonny, why does your ear look like that?" And you just get a lot of the really creeped out people, and that's really annoying. 2, they smell not so good. Now, if you take care of them, they are fine. They actually do not smell at all, but as we all know, when you're 10 years old and trying to stretch your ears, you don't really take the best care of them sometimes, and a lot of people's ears smell super bad, and they think that it's funny, and it's just not. Just wash your ears, okay? That's gross. Nobody likes ear cheese, and honestly, washing your ears does not take that long. Just take your plug out, scrub it a little bit, dry it up, put your plug back in, done. 3, blowouts look super bad. You need to be patient when stretching your ears. You need to be patient and careful and just aware of your body when you're stretching your ears, because when you aren't patient and you aren't aware and you aren't careful, that can lead to blowouts, which pretty much looks like an asshole on your ear. Usually you don't see it from the front. Usually you'll see it in the back. It'll look like a little lip of skin around your piercing hole, if that makes sense, the fistula, from when you forced it too hard and the inside of your ear went to the outside, like an anal prolapse when you see those in porn. That's what your ear looks like. And while it doesn't look bad to the unknowing eye, to other people with stretched ears, we judge you because that shit is disgusting looking, and honestly, in my opinion, it shows me a little bit about your character when I see that you have a blowout. Not to mention, when you take your plug out, not only do you have a huge gaping hole that freaks everyone out, your hole looks like a butthole instead of it being completely round, and nobody wants butthole ears. No. 4, they get in the way. When you have really small sizes, they don't get in the way, but I would say about at the 00-ish, 7/16-ish, half-inch-ish size, they do start getting kind of flappy, and they do get in the way, especially if you're pulling up something hard, like a high collar. Yeah, like a high collar, you're pulling that up, or if you're wearing really heavy plugs. This is about the size where you start feeling it. If you tip your head, the plug starts weighing your ear down, and that's when you feel it. When you shake your head really hard wearing a heavy plug, that's when you also feel it. And if it's not something that you like to have something jiggling around your day-to-day life, it happens. 5, sometimes plugs get stuck in your ear, such as the problem that I'm having right now. If you watched my previous video my plugs are stuck in my ear because skin is elastic. It stretches and then it shrinks, and sometimes it decides to be a little bit more elastic and then be stubborn, and sometimes your jewelry will get stuck in your ears for a long time. And because you can't remove your jewelry, it leads to your ear smelling bad. 6, stretching is a very expensive hobby. It's all fun and games when you have that cute $20 BOD FX kit with like the tapers and all the sizes. It didn't cost you that much money. It's new and it's exciting. However, that kit only goes to 00, okay? And after that, you are on your own. Not to mention, the further up you get in size, the more expensive your plugs get. To this day, I have probably spent more than $500 on just ear stretching stuff, plugs mostly, but like, it's a lot of money, and I only have one pair of ears, and I don't even use all of the things that I've bought for myself. As you can see in all of my old plug collections and plug dangly videos, I got a lot of stuff. It costs a lot of money, and I barely use any of it, and it's really upsetting, but you know what? It's just a part of the hobby, and it is money that you will have to spend, and even if you are smart with your spending, meaning not accumulating plugs until you are at your goal size, once you start accumulating plugs, it's still a lot of money, no matter what you do. So if you're not ready to spend the money and you want to like stretch with toothpicks or something, please refrain from doing so and just save your dollars until you can buy a pair of plugs. You do not need to be stretching with like straws and toothpicks or like pen caps or any of those things. 7, sleeping can be uncomfortable. Some people take their plugs out when they sleep. I personally do not take my plugs out for bedtime because my hole shrinks very easily, and that's not because I stretched them properly, but I did stretch them properly. But that's because all of my piercings are just not meant to be, and whenever I remove any of my piercings for a couple of hours, no matter how long I've had them, they will close. Same thing for my ears. They will shrink significantly, and in the morning I will no longer be able to insert that size back into my ear, so therefore I have to sleep with my plugs in. And honestly, as time goes on, and depending on the wearable area of your plug, it could be longer, it could be shorter, but it presses against this part of your head when you are laying on your pillow, and if your ear is big enough, it flips over this way like so when you are laying on your pillow, and that is just annoying because then your ear is like inside your ear, and nobody wants that, and waking up and trying to like get your ear out of your ear is just a strange experience to have. In my own 8, I'm very bad at counting. I'm pretty sure I missed one. Anyway, plugs come and go in style. And when you find your holy grail of a plug, you want to wear your plug forever and ever and ever. And one day you're either going to lose it, it is going to break, you're going to chip or dent it, they will get stolen if you have terrible friends. One day something is going to happen to them and you will be out of a plug, and when you go and you look for that plug, it's not going to exist anymore, and you are going to go up and down searching for the exact same thing, and when you find something close enough, it's not going to be the same thing because it's probably made by a different company and it just doesn't feel the same, the wearable area isn't the same. It's just all sorts of wrong, and you are just so upset. But how are you supposed to know that those were supposed to be your favorite plugs? You didn't until it was too late, and now you have to be really sad and find another pair of plugs to be your new favorite, but no pair of plugs will be the same as your old favorite pair of plugs. And then you cry about it, and you beg the company to make you something similar, and they say, no, sorry, we don't have the materials to do so, but here's something similar, and you're just like, I don't want something similar, I want my old plugs. And it's just a really sad story, and it's something that you have to tell your grandchildren about, and it's just the worst feeling ever. Once your ear gets stretchy enough, at any size, but this is actually more annoying at large sizes, your plug pops out of your ear. Now this is funny when you don't have an expensive, discontinued edition plug in your ear. And it is also funny when you're not out in the middle of the street and your plug falls out of your ear and you're just like, oh my God, and you have to go and chase after it and pray that it didn't break or didn't fall into the gutter, or just pick it up from some like weird corner of the room where it's all like covered in like dust and like hair and like people's other gross things because they don't like sweep corners and like underneath the couch, and like wipe it off and then put it back in your ear. It's super gross. And you know what I'm talking about when you're like in between sizes, when it's too loose at like your current size, and then the next size doesn't go in because your ear's not big enough, and so you like bump your ear, or like you put like your phone against your ear. This is lotion, but you put your phone against your ear and it comes out and you're just like, ah! We've all been there. Crowding out your other piercings. Before you got your ears stretched, I'm sure some of you have had a lot of piercings just like this. Not that you can see it, but here we are. When you start stretching your ears and stretching them, they just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Next thing you know, the first hole is touching your second piercing. So, for those who really treasure your piercings and you want all the piercings you've ever had, such as myself, because each piercing tells a story of a time in my life that I got it, do not want to retire any of my piercings. I have already retired this one, but I want to keep as many of them as possible, because while some people just get piercings, some other people, maybe you, maybe not, get piercings, and they also mean something to you as the individual. And for those people, you don't want to just pull out your piercings just so you can go to a different size. And that is completely understandable, because that is the problem that I personally have as well. When you start stretching, you have to think about your piercings and rearranging all of them, and try not to let one hole rip into the other, because that would also be very bad. But probably good in a way if you were looking to stretch really fast, because then like 2 holes would become 1, and then you'll have like a super stretch. I'm not a piercer, so don't look at me like that for suggesting something so appalling. Alright guys, so this is the 10 cons of having your ears stretched, gauged, whatever you want to call them. Do as you will, but this is just my experience and my personal 10 cons. Hopefully you don't share the same cons as I do, and if you do, I am sorry, because I get you. I understand. But until next time, thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I know a couple of people wanted me to do more 10 cons of piercings, so I'm just gonna slowly plug through that. Got plenty of piercings to get through. So until next time, see you guys later. Thanks again for watching. Bye!